hear me? Can you see me? Can you let me know? How are we? Is there anybody out there? Is this working? Is the audio okay? I have had issues with tech the last couple of days, amongst other things. Well, I presume that it's working, so anyway, yeah. How are we doing? Have we got Kirsty? How are you doing, Kirsty? Alright? Mandy, how's things? Steve, how you doing, bud? Well, isn't this marvellous? I'm not long out the shower, so it's I'm still very warm, even though I've been freezing cold most of the day. Oh, you can hear me and see me, that's good to know. I'll see how long I can manage with this, because I was awake at 3 o'clock this morning. I was out of bed by 5. I was out the house by 5:15, and I had done my daily steps target before 6 a.m. So it's been a long day, unfortunately, this one. Lars, how are you doing, bud? How's things? Yeah, so I'm absolutely cabbaged, and I've done a full day's work on top of that as well. Right, oh, right, you got an echo, but it was the TV. Thank Christ for that, Mandy. I've had problems with this last couple of days, with echoes appearing here, there and everywhere. And I think at some point I need to mess around with the camera as well and make it a bit more stable, because it keeps pissing around. Obviously, it's a new camera as well, because I am such a gear wanker. But hopefully it'll work. I think there's a few little settings I have to mess around with to make sure that it's working properly, but we will get there. I don't need me sleep yet, Steve, thankfully, and also I want to avoid hearing the football in the other room, seeing as though the those that shall not be mentioned are playing tonight, aren't they? The Afterbirth now, so I'm swerving that. Plus, if I manage to get through this, then I should be fine for later on and go into sleep at a normal time, so I'll wake up at a normal time, in theory. Plus, my daughter will want to lift at some point later. Like she always does. I dropped her off in town earlier, so more than likely I'll get a call. Dad, that's what normally happens, isn't it? Yes, autofocus is a problem, definitely. Especially when you do something like that. Although it's quite quick to snap back, isn't it? But this is the first time using that camera. I look like shite. Cheers, mate, I do. I felt like it this morning as well. But, you know, all part of the holiday, isn't it? Yeah, autofocus is an absolute pain. It's there for a reason, but at the same time, just leave it. Stop messing. I think it's going to take a bit more messing around with this camera, as opposed from that one. But I will get there. Extreme close-up, yeah, we don't want Wayne's World extreme close-ups, do we? Do you reckon as well, the new t-shirt, a bit of Red Dwarf for you? Yeah, nobody wants an extreme close-up of me, trust me. Not a good look. So yeah, it's been one of those days today, hasn't it? One of those days. Up very early. Took my daughter to college as well. Been running around like a fly of the blue arse variety. Managed to do a full day's work and other stuff in between. Very interesting. Yep, it's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. Sounds very much like Goodison lately. It was a little bit chilly this morning when I went out to get my daughter. In fact, it was a little bit chillier when I went out for a walk, and I made sure I went for a slightly longer walk. The idea being, hopefully, I'd wear myself out, come back home, and have a nap on the sofa. That didn't happen, unfortunately. Yeah, Starbug in the middle. Cat, Rimmer, Crichton, and Lister. I had to, didn't I? I mean, I had to. Saf, how you doing, mate? Greetings and salutations to you too. Loved your premiere earlier on. Very, very chilled, very zen. Your lads are still smarting from Sunday, are they, Steve? Yeah. It's not been good the last week or two, has it? For any of us, I don't think. Our time will come again. I'm not looking forward to this weekend either myself, to be honest. We never seem to do well against Spurs, and I think it's going to be the same on is it Saturday early kick-off. Half past midday kick-off. 12:30 on a Saturday morning, afternoon. Stupid. And not just a pain in the arse for us. If we were playing the likes of, I don't know, City, Liverpool, United, someone close, it would still be a pain, but Spurs fans are going to get all the way from London for a 12:30 kick-off on a Saturday. TV companies just don't give a shit, do they? It's all about the Dwayne Eddies. It's never about the fans. Evil shower of bastards. Yeah, sorry, forgot about that. Oh, hello, what's happening there? New camera. Yes, there's a few things obviously going to go wrong here, isn't there? I forgot about this. Well, this is not going to end well. This is not going to go well at all. Yeah, it didn't lose to Maidstone, whereas someone fairly close did, obviously. Oh man, this is all going to go Peter Tong, unless... No, still not. Very odd. There you go. How's that? Yes, I forgot all about this. Having a new camera has meant that everything needs to be pushed forward slightly. This could get very, very, very Lionel. Very messy. Well, we'll give it a go anyway. Not seen bot yet. No, we haven't, have we? But it's on the screen anyway. South Africa in the quarters of the AFCON. Yep, that's good stuff. I've seen that. Fingers crossed to go all the way and win it. Hand exercises? No, I am far too exhausted for that. I've been struggling big time this week, and I need to save a little bit of energy just for getting around, I think. But what are we on? We're on Wednesday, aren't we? Oh, well, give it a couple more days. Hopefully, I'll be all right. At that point, I start looking at hand exercises. I did me walking, so that's if I can't do both, I'll at least try and do one of them. So the walking, that's helped today, I think. Bethlehem Barbican. There's a lot going on in that, isn't it? Sounds like the kind of place that Prince would live, isn't it? Paisley Park on one side of the road, Bethlehem Barbican on the other. If South Africa doesn't win, you want Cape Verde or Cap Verde to win. Oh, we shall see. We shall see. Some good teams left in there. Yep, as Mandy and Kirsty are drunk. Well, Kirsty's slidey writing, which can come up with some exceptionally interesting stuff. Of 1,000 Kirstys with 1,000 phones for 1,000 years, you would write the complete works of Shakespeare backwards. It's interesting though. You'll rod a Rick. It does sound painful, poor old Rick. Waterwick. Willis Waterwick. See, that's even worse, Mandy. You're not slidey writing and it still sounds crazy. At least Kirsty's got that excuse. Have you been on a team area yet? Barnesy, how you doing, mate? Slightly better, not by much. Slightly better. I blame the Storm Isha and Storm Jocelyn for not being able to sleep last week, early part of last week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And it's put me so far back, it's been absolutely ridiculous. Constantly shattered. I've picked up, I don't know, some kind of bug, I think. Not good. So the other day, I had absolutely no energy left whatsoever. There's no way I could have got in front of a camera. Couldn't speak for 5 minutes, let alone 2 hours. Still got a bottle left from Crimbo? Yes. Get yourself wired right into that, Mandy. Don't leave it to go dusty in the back of the cupboard like the Advocard that everyone's got. Everyone's nan must have had one of them. A dusty bottle of Advocard that was there from the Christmas before. There's always, when you had parties, there was always people turned up with carrying shit with them and then took all the good ale and just left the shite there. That must be every single house there. Lads, you still got all your Christmas alcohol? That takes some doing. Yeah, it's the 31st today, isn't it? 31st of January, so another dry January completed. Well, almost. I've seen a lot of people on my Twitter feed who are congratulating themselves for doing dry January, as they should. We are so surrounded by the stuff, advertising, just in society in general. Whenever we do anything in the UK, you know, I've passed my driving test, let's go for a pint. It's my birthday, let's go for a pint. A cleaner conservatory, let's go for a pint. So, you know, anyone who gets through January, and it is January as well, don't forget. getting through that. January is the Monday, isn't it? It's the Monday of the year. Yet we have all survived the 5 months of January well and truly. If you can get rid of January and come out of it unscathed, you'll do well for the rest of the year. I think, anyway. Harry, goedenavond. Hoe gaat het? Ben je goed? But yeah, there seems to be a lot more people this year doing dry January. I don't know if that's just a combination of everyone having had too much, or it being too expensive, or just genuinely had enough, can't be arsed with it. It's become too much of a habit, that kind of thing. I don't know, but it seems to be, it's catching on. Not a dry January, okay. You had a drink with Blake for his birthday a couple of weeks ago. Ah, fair enough, yeah. It's midnight for us, 5 hours before him. That's fair dues, that, mate. Do you know what? It doesn't have to be a dry January either. If it's been mostly dry, you'd be doing yourself a hell of a lot of good. Well, I think anyway. Letting your body repair itself, which it needs to occasionally, which I need to listen to my own bloody advice, don't I? Sleep when you're tired. Yeah, good question. How's Lego getting on? Improving bit by bit. We like our Lego. Oh, Heidi's cavitation narcissistic bearable deciding Toshiba lagging Marciano mortgage. Fair enough. Heidi being my ex-wife's name always sends shivers down my spine. Especially when she's being narcissistically cavitacious. It's not very dry outside this January. No. Certainly, mind you, it's drying off a little bit now. It was absolutely bouncing down earlier. Looked like some kind of, I don't know, Gulf of Mexico tornado going on outside. Which, of course, happened when I was trying to get into the car. Swear it was pissing down as I was trying to get in the car. The sun came out while I was driving, and as soon as I got back home and pulled onto the driveway, the rain come out again. It must be waiting for me. In Nederland, it's been dry all day. That is a miracle, an absolute miracle. Netherlands has got a similar kind of climate to us, really, hasn't it? It does rain a hell of a lot. I don't mind the rain. I don't mind the cold. What I don't like is the cold and the rain at the same time, which is what I'm expecting for Saturday, I think. In fact, I think. Shall we see? Saturday weather. The weather like on Saturday, la. Ah, yes. Cold and rain. Marvellous. Dry in Norfolk as well. And London. Well, we've been hit by another storm by the look of it, or the tail end of a storm at least, anyway. Very, very strong winds. Lots of rain. I went out this morning, it must have been 5:20 this morning to go for my walk. And it was a little bit chilly, but not too bad. Dry. Very quiet. I didn't mind that. If it had been raining, on the other hand, I think I'd have just turned round and come back in. I couldn't be arsed with that. And I walked a little bit further, a slightly different route, just to see if I could do it. and I had to really take my time to do it. No energy whatsoever. Pouring down in Manchester as usual. Yep. If it didn't rain in Manchester so much, the music would be shite, wouldn't it? That's the whole thing about a lot of Great Britain and Ireland, is it rains all the time, so you can't go out and do much. So most of the time you're sat in the house with a guitar or a pen and paper. So we've got like loads of fantastic musicians, comedians, poets, writers, all because you're stuck in the house for day after day after day. Chuck and buckets in Manchester as always. Produces a hearty soul, that though. Steve, I didn't watch the cricket on Sunday. It's on BT, isn't it? I haven't got that on my telly at the moment. Although I might have to sort it out this week. I phoned Sky earlier on because they're getting too expensive, and then they give me a huge discount, which means I can now afford to get BT or TNT, wherever it is as well. So wet and miserable, even the red bricks look grey. That does sound a little bit Manchester Salford-y, doesn't it? A bit of Lowry, a bit of JS Lowry. Yep, Seth, that's the reason why Scotland has so many inventors. The weather's awful. What do? You can't go out. You can't take the dog for a walk, because if you did, you'd be on a lead up like that. So you just stay in the house and work things out. Before it got dark, I couldn't even see the mountains. Did you try and open the curtains, Mandy? That must be horrible, that. When you live somewhere with a fantastic view, and then it's not there. I should be able to see that, and then the clouds are so low. And that was it was a Janino who used to play football for Middlesbrough. He's a Brazilian. Learned his skills on Ipanema Beach, and he said the one thing he couldn't believe when he got to England is how low the sky is, which I thought was a great way of putting it. The clouds are about that far above your head and it doesn't stop raining. And of course in Middlesbrough it wasn't just rain, it was acid rain, you know what I mean? Oh, dad joke, yeah, of course. I missed out there. I should have pressed the button, shouldn't I, for a dad joke? I've been doing dad stuff as well. Again today, drive my daughter around. It's her 18th birthday at the beginning of April. So her presents arrived today. Been trying to sort that out. 18, it's ridiculous. Only seems 5 minutes ago she was born. And now she'll be able to go to the pub legally. Feel so old, man. I said I'd take her for a first pint, and she just looked at me like, what? Don't drink pints. It's your first beer, it's got to be a pint. Should be a pint of mild as well, if you're having your first pint with your dad. He says, thinking he was born in the 1940s or something. Would the button have worked though? Possibly not. I think not, actually. We'll soon find out. It's one of these things that I completely forgot. I made sure everything was working perfectly apart from half the things I need to do on the stream. So this could get very bedlamic. Not 18 for pubs anymore, 21 and over. Yeah. There's still some places in Southport where it's about 16 or 17 and over. They're quite happy. Yeah, she can get a driver's license. She's got a provisional. She's been doing lessons with me dad until he got ill. Unfortunately, otherwise she might have passed the test by now. Once she does, I'll have to sell a spleen and help her towards getting a car, and then she can start picking me up. Not that I'll be going anywhere. This is the pain in the arse about not drinking alcohol and not going out anymore. I could have done with her driving about 5 or 6 years ago when I was going out. Yeah, first legal pint. She's out tonight, funnily enough. I'm not going to say which place it is in Southport, but there is a place that they allow the kids in. And it's a place I used to drink in as well. Mind you, I was in my 30s when I did. So. Yeah, but I thought that was some kind of rite of passage. When you turn 18, your dad goes and takes you for a pint or for a drink. Apparently not. Yep, lads, Southport, the town centre used to be fantastic. When I first moved here back in 91, it was absolutely amazing. Nightlife was fantastic. Loads of bars open till 2 or 3 in the morning. Loads of different types of places. Fantastic. The whole of town was chocker. And then bit by bit, it's just died on its arse and nobody seems bothered. So now there's only a handful of places, and then because there's a handful of places, you tend to get loads of people in there, and plenty of people that don't like each other as well. So there's always an atmosphere. Not that I've been out for such a long time, you know. Yeah, it will make more money than anywhere else. That they will do, definitely, just because they're letting people in. And it's funny, there's a load of them, and their mates all work together and all go to college and stuff together. And all of a sudden they've got this little Wednesday thing that they go out together. I love it. It was the same as me and the lads used to go out on a Thursday night when we were about 15 in a place called Cascades in Mossley Hill in Liverpool. We all looked well over 18, so it wasn't a big issue, but that was our thing. Thursday nights, get in there. Great video jukebox, great ale, and it was close for all of us. Southport did used to be a really nice place, genuinely did. It's still not too bad, to be honest. It just, the town centre needs a little bit of help. They need to stop opening vape shops and fix your phone here kind of places, and stop charging people a fortune to park, or let them park a little bit closer. Yeah, the police do have a blind spot for underage drinkers. At least you know where they are. Uh, that's that used to be the same years ago, and I don't think much has changed. You don't want them hanging around on street corners causing trouble. If they think they're getting away with getting served when they shouldn't do, they're probably more likely to behave themselves. Not necessarily, but probably. Good evening, Casper. How you doing, mate? Yes, new glasses. They are indeed. I thought I needed something slightly different instead of my normal ones. I've now got, I think, 7 pairs of normal glasses and I think 4 pairs of prescription sunglasses as well, hidden everywhere. Loads in the car in case I need them. Nothing worse than getting in the car and suddenly realising you're not wearing your glasses, because I do need them for driving. That's the thing, I don't need the glasses all the time, I just need them for seeing with. What are normal glasses? Good question, that, Steve. These ones aren't. These have got weird coatings on and all kinds of stuff. For some fairly just straightforward ones that can be smashed and thrown in the bin if they need to. But a couple of quite expensive pairs as well. Loads of different coatings, UV, toughened lenses, all that stuff. Pint glasses, yes. I do sort of miss that feeling of holding a full pint. That first one when you go in the pub on your lunch and all your mates are in there. And yes, I hate the word lunch. Such a Tory word. But in work we have to put down a lunch hour on your stats, so everyone just calls it your lunch. Even though if you actually called it lunch, you'd get accused of being a Tory. I missed that. I think by the time I get back to going into work and going for a pint and stuff like that, half the people I work with will have retired, I think. Me being one of them as well, possibly, at that point. Yeah, it used to let you have a pint as long as you behave yourself. Used to go to the pub when you were 14 or 15, same with me. But then again, I lived in a pub, so I got used to behaving myself after having a few beers and not acting like an absolute maggot. Plus, at the age of 15, I was 6'4" and 15 stone, so I looked older, much older than I actually was. Was never really baby faced, but I looked, yeah. And I wasn't asking for the stupid drinks that people do when you try and get the first pint. When you don't know what to order, and you can tell straight away, it's like these haven't got a clue what's going on at all here. And you get someone coming in asking for a brown mild or something. He looks 12, but he must be 50. I'll serve him anyway. Yeah, that first pint feeling, lads, that is a fantastic feeling. The problem is the seventh does come very soon after, unfortunately. It does. Two's normally alright. Three, as soon as you've had your third one, the seventh must follow. Pint glass of Coke, so you still get your pint. No, I refuse to buy Coca-Cola products. I never will do. Evil, evil corporation. Not a chance. Not just the fact that it's a bad drink and it's bad for you. They are an horrific company. 15, you were on the whiskey and clubbing in Manchester. That's how you do it. When you're 15, get right in there, steam in there, get it sorted. Steve, you're playing footy for your local teams at 15, yeah? Just followed the blokes to the pub after the game, and as long as you're in there and you're quiet, you'll be looked after. They don't mind. It's part of growing up, isn't it? It's part of becoming a man. I used to love that drinking with the owl fellas as well, like the proper owl fellas, who are probably not much older than I am now, to be honest, but they seem like owl fellas. A lot of wisdom in them people. Lots of don't be acting like a bell end, that kind of advice. 1237. Is there a glitch in your matrix there, Mandy? Yes. On the cistern, not in the glass. Unfortunately, Liverpool's like that at the moment. like a revolving door in the toilets most of the time. Can't say I'm a fan myself. Never taken it, but just the whole, I don't know, the atmosphere around it. You end up talking to someone for 5 minutes and they disappear every couple of seconds and then come back and then, what on earth? Why are you being like this? The hardest players on the pitch tended to be the nicest blokes off the pitch. Yep. That used to go for professional as well as just Sunday league and stuff like that. As I said before with my dad, when he played, my dad was a really tough man. And him and people like Joe Jordan and players like that used to knock shite out of each other, shake hands and then go and have a pint afterwards. Yeah, Joe Jordan, Terry Yorath, Kenny Burns, proper big tough men. Quite happy to give it out as well as take it, but also just leave it on the pitch. No arsing round afterwards. No bearing grudges. Had a week no worries at all. Trying to follow a series and me at the same time. Some people have enough trouble just trying to follow me on my own, never mind anything else. If you're doing a series at the same time, fair play to you. Yeah, 6 foot tall and 18 stone. There's no way you could tell you're 15. I think a lot of it's your attitude as well, the way you walk to the bar, the stuff that you order, the way you carry yourself. If you hang around like I did with proper owl fellas, you knew you knew the kind of stuff they ordered, how they ordered it, and the voices weren't squeaking. Can I have half of a pint of lager, please? No. Height of golden. Yourself one as well, there, lad. Barman's probably thinking, he's fucking hell, he's 15 him. What's he playing at? Mind you, he's a good tipper. I'll save him again. Plus, you can't tell with some of these kids nowadays. Some of them they can look about 12 or 13 when you see them going to school of a morning. And then the same people, you see them coming into the pub later on that night. And like, you look at in your 20s, but I know I saw you this morning going to school. I know exactly how old you are. Get out, you're not getting served. Multitasking is rather difficult, yes, it is. But worth it. When you play footy, you were loud and obnoxious to the strikers. The bigger they were, the more scared they were when they couldn't score. I used to love it. Playing up against centre halves. Just laugh at them constantly myself. Ball in the back of the net. That's what you're doing, you're talking. Yeah, 2 bitters, a double jack and one for yourself, love. It's all about the patter. If you get that right, you're in there. Mayhem, harsh, barn owl. Who's off the barn owl? Is snake biting black still banned? Not as far as I know. There's a few things that were banned, weren't there? Snakebite used to be banned because it made it look as though your pipes were knackered and not cleaned. Because it goes cloudy. A lot of pubs wouldn't do it because it just made their air look shit. And you can't exactly have someone who's drinking one having a sign saying it's not cloudy beer, it's just snakebite. You know what I mean? Right, so it's set in the 80s in Limburg where a detective is trying to take out an IRA cell in Roermond based on a true story. Oh, sounds very interesting. They get everywhere, them boys, don't they? In your league, the hardest team to beat, or the hardest team to play was a local RAF base. Full of Scousers, Geordies and Jocks, but it was always the best after game of the season. That's the best way. That if you can get in there, have a real hard game against them, and then just have a good laugh afterwards. It's what the game should be about. It definitely should be about that kind of stuff, rather than all the arsenal that you see nowadays. People driving onto the pitch with 4x4s full of machetes and stuff. That might just be Liverpool, to be honest, but yeah, that seems to happen quite a lot. It's called a spectacular. Wonder if we can get it over here. Let's have a look. Oh, there you go, TV miniseries, yep. It'll be on somewhere, won't it? And one of the stars, their name is Hadavik as well. Hadavik Minis. Your favourite saying, Saf, was "You are not like me." Somehow that made them think you were crazy. It does sound a little bit unhinged. Knackered pipes, Mandy. Knackered pipes. Never good. Yeah, let us know if it's any good, and we'll check that one out. It's definitely on IMDb, so it'll be around about somewhere. Prime Video, is it? Might be on Prime, that one. Casper, at 16, you rarely got in anywhere as you were 5'9" and severely baby faced. Be thankful. Be very thankful. Yes, there are more people called Hadwig in the Netherlands. We only know one, and then all of a sudden we know two. I say we only know one. There could be other people on here who know hundreds of years. I only know one. And yes, Casper, definitely still baby faced. Right, so it's on Prime somewhere. Oh, well, I'll find it. It'll be somewhere. It'll always be somewhere. Yeah, Marcus Rashford did get a slap on the wrists for going out a couple of days before a game, which is not the done thing. Definitely not the done thing. Although Pat Nevin, who's a former Everton footballer, um, he's got a good book called The Accidental Footballer. He said that he finished training on I think it was a Thursday or something, got a flight to Paris and then got a train 2 hours from Paris to the south of France to go and watch the Cocteau Twins. Then got a flight back early hours of the morning and got into training on time. And the management had no idea about it. The manager at the time as well was my dad's ex-manager at Wrexham and Middlesbrough. The same manager that tried to sign him for Chelsea. We stood on the centre circle. Ken Bates was the chairman, and John Neal was the manager. Tried to sign him. No, not happening. So we moved to the Netherlands instead, and it was one of the best things that could have happened to us. And I hated that. Right, what are we up to? Screen's just gone bing, bing, bing. Yeah, you still are to a less severe extent, Casper, definitely. Watching me on the iPad while Helen is watching Silent Witness. Don't want to spoil it for you, Helen, but the butler did it. Going Out didn't do George Best or Gazza any harm. I think it did both of them quite a bit of harm, but you know, I like that thing that happened with George Best when he said he arrived at an airport in North America and there was a big sign saying "Drink Canada Dry." He said, "I give it a good go," like, you know. I met George Best, lovely man. He was slightly drunk when I met him, funnily enough. It was weird. He had the straggly beard and he didn't look great, but he still had that sparkle in his eye. The same kind of sparkle that the likes of Robin Williams has as well. You know, you can tell there's a little bit of devil within them. Pat Nevin scored your biggest day in 1989. Was he playing for us at that point? He was, wasn't he? So we didn't sign him until 1988, so he must have been playing for Everton at that point. Great player, Pat Nevin. But even better was the fact that he wasn't your usual footballer who was just going out and going on the ale and playing snooker and gambling on the horses and that. He would be going out and watching Echo and the Bunnymen, the Cocteau Twins and bands like that. Loved his music, still loves his music. From George Best to Pete Best. I don't know which one went out more often. Yes, a very playful glint in his eye. I like that about people. You can always tell there's just a little bit of, I say a little bit of the devil about them, where these are going to be fun. I watched the documentary about Paul Gascoigne. I felt sorry for him at times. Didn't do himself any favours by hanging around with absolute dickheads, but he, when you've got that much pressure on you and you haven't got an outlet for it and you haven't got the right people around you, it must be horrible. And it's really affected him badly. Vegan sushi, yes, that is just rice. Or rice with a little bit of, what else do they put in there? Is seaweed. You can have the, yeah, seaweed is not a sentient thing, is it? You can have seaweed. Yeah, the FA Cup semi-final at Villa Park, you were in the Holt End. Yeah, that's a game. Yet another semi-final that Everton won. We seem to win too many, or we did seem to win so many of them within the 80s. It was just every other week we seemed to be at Wembley. But for a lot of people that were there, that's not the thing that they remember it for. It was getting all the way home. It was before mobile phones, wasn't it? Getting all the way home, hearing that there was something that had happened at Hillsborough, not realising how bad it was, and then getting back to Liverpool and just getting off the train and walking out to Lime Street Station and telling you could look around. Lads who were there said it was horrible. You knew something really bad had happened. Just getting off the train, you knew it was bad, and it was only then starting to filter through. And it made the final an absolute non-entity, to be honest. Even though it was a 4-4, just absolute non-entity. But it would have been nice for you to get to Wembley. I wasn't there for that one. I made it for the 95 final and for the or what was it, 2009 semi. Smashed avocado. You know what avocado is, don't you? That's the answer you get from a scouser when they say, do you have a motorbike? I got avocado. Should we try it? Oh, I don't know. Didn't work, did it? Didn't work. Oh well. You learn these things. You do and you learn. It does, yeah, it does sober you up. And normally those games, everyone was out on the ale for hours beforehand. So yeah, certainly does sober you up. I was going to say, back when fans were treated like cattle, we still are really, aren't we? Paul Bracewell, oh man, what a player. What an absolute legend of a player. Him and Trevor Steven, they had the wedge haircut. They definitely looked like they were from Liverpool, bizarrely. Trees with entwined roots send out emergency signals. Are you slidey writing now, Mandy? I, hopefully the next dad joke should work. Should, I say should. Send to front, or is it always on top now? No, the way it works with OBS, you add, um, you have a scene and you add in. Let's have a look. You've got what a scene and you add in sources, and whichever is at the top of the that scene is the very first thing on the top. So if you're going to put up something like the football, that has to be right at the top, or at least. So the way I've got it at the moment, I've got the I don't know why I'm pointing there. You can't see it. The picture that stays at the back of Everest with the PMA on it. Then I've got the camera, and on top of that, I've got the Botrix chat, and then the football and stuff like that goes on top as well. So when you switch them on and off, they should still stay on top of the camera. But it's a ball ache because if you don't think of these things when you're putting everything together and you're changing cameras, then you completely forget to do it. And I should have wrote that down, shouldn't I? Mushrooms are closer related to humans than any plant is. Yes, I've met a few people, a few fun guys in my time. Saf, you got to go. No worries, mate. Long day ahead. You take care. Thanks for coming and seeing us, as always. Right, if one tree is getting attacked, it sends out signals so other trees take precautions. Yes, you're right. I have seen that somewhere. I think that was another BBC documentary. Yeah, it sends out. It's a chemical, isn't it? They send chemicals through trees, through roots and stuff. Yeah, so it is like they are telling each other, "Watch out! There's a woodpecker on the rise." Yeah, some plants are more valuable than others, so we can't eat them. What's happening? What is going on here? Why is it doing this? Loads of messages come through at once. Awful. The smell after cooked grass is the distress hormone to warn the other grass. Is that why I sneeze all the time at it? It might be what that is. I'm distressed as well. Had a week, it is. It's amazing how nature works, and how little we know. And it's only when you watch programs where it comes up with stuff like this, you think, no, that can't be true. And they show you, what? There was a fantastic BBC 4 program about fungi, funguses, mushrooms, all of it. Oh, absolutely incredible. How could I be fascinated for an hour just watching about mushrooms? But I was. Absolutely insane. Acacia trees send out signals when eaten by giraffes. Ants pick it up as well and go on attack. That is bizarre. Nazi veganism. Well, Adolf was a vegan, wasn't he, or was he a vegetarian? Similar kind of thing. Jeff is on the prowl, yes. Actually, what time is it? I'm going to go and see if Jeff's working, to be honest. Try a little bit of Tales from the Crypt with Jeff. The Bad Life wasn't the reboot the BBC were expecting. Oh, Horace is in that as well, is he? Things were going to be very different with me in charge and Jeff Minister. I auditioned to replace Clarkson on Top Gear, but apparently I wasn't a big enough bell end. Fair do. Yeah, fair dues. Yeah. Don't let him out the basement. Too late. You have let him out the basement now, but yeah, I can sort of understand that. He does seem a ready-made replacement for Jeremy Clarkson, but not quite in the same bracket. He's not quite as evil. Yeah. Well, lads, you're not crazy for using tea leaves and mixed herbs for models at all. I think it's a fantastic idea. I also like the fact that it's natural material. So even though the models themselves, a lot of it might be plastic and plastic metal and stuff like that, throw in some proper tea leaves and mixed herbs. Fantastic. If you put Viagra in a vase of flowers, they'll stay upright longer, and you don't know why. Yep, it must be the same kind of thing. Same as humans. The same as if you make pasta, don't throw the water away. If you keep hold of it and let it go cold, and then feed your plants with it, it's full of all kinds of stuff that's really good for them, starches and things like that are really good. So if you got it and you just don't throw it away for the sake of it, keep hold of it. Apparently your plants will thrive. There you go. A little bit of horticulture. Sorry, almost choked to death there. Most people use synthetic static grass. Mandy, I love the new trailer. Yeah, I like a bit of Jeff getting involved. Yes, and Steve Felicity Kendall still works for me, mate. Still works. That's a great show anyway. That's The Good Life. I think it was funny that on the young ones they were going on about sick of the good life. It's too bloody goody good. And yet everyone on the young ones loved the good life. Alright, so synthetic static grass, it's terrible stuff. Worst thing, glitter for getting everywhere. What was it someone said in the past? Glitter is the herpes of the crafts world, which I think is an absolutely fantastic phrase, that one. And it is. Yeah, I think I prefer your method as well, as it's what you've been doing. I said before on one of your streams, it's not the destination, it's the journey with half of the stuff like that. The actual effort of doing what you're doing instead of just, I'll plaster something on so it looks okay for now. Making sure you're doing stuff that you want to do, taking your time doing it. I think that's the best thing to do, definitely. You saw the grass on the model railway competition using a magnet to get it to stand up, when really all you needed was a little bit of Viagra. People used to put the pill in to water the weed. Ah, did not know that. Kirsty, you're off in a few minutes, no problem at all. Nice to be seeing you. Needs a static applicator. That would explain why then, of course. You watched the thing about the man to the man born the other night. Yes, Mandy. I watched an episode of it myself the other night. Not too bad at all. Yes, you do watch Doll's House furniture being made. Yeah, it's interesting watching stuff like that. It's that sort of relax and chill out slightly. That kind of, I like that. Taking your time, just don't look at the ground floor filled in properly yet. Definitely just take your time till you're happy with it. The only way to do it, really, isn't it? Do it right or do it shite. That's the way I think, anyway. Yeah, but to the man born. Funny enough, I was watching today. I was watching Up Pompeii with Frankie Howard. I'd not watched that since I was a kid, and yet I watched it. I watched it the last couple of days actually. It is still as funny, if not funnier, than I remember. And of course, Frankie Howard, absolute genius. So funny. Some stuff I watched and thought that hasn't aged very well at all. Him just talking to the breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience and stuff is brilliant. Sometimes I feel like throwing my hooves up in the air. I know I can count on you, Jeff. Jeff's got a little bit Manchester there, hasn't he? You weren't very chilled knitting Walter a chainmail shirt. Well, not everything can be chilled in that way. Yeah, Barnsley, Lechio. Absolutely superb. Just some really funny stuff in, some great lines and some, but I wouldn't even call them dad jokes. They were just bad jokes, but deliberately bad and funny as a result. Definitely worth watching. Oh, and by the way, Laz, I had a look. Wurzel Gummidge is on a Friday now on Talking Pictures TV. It used to be they're like some kind of omnibus on a Saturday, but that seems to have stopped, unfortunately. But it's definitely on a Friday. Steve, I do watch the Auto Alex podcast. I haven't seen the Ben Collins episode yet. I've not watched it yet. I will do. I've watched him on. He's on Drive Tribe quite a lot. Ben Collins, him and Mike were doing a little bit of a tour around some of the old Top Gear locations, which was quite good. I like Ben Collins. He seems quite a a laid back kind of fella, doesn't he? Loves his cars, obviously, but quite personable. I like him. Yep. Jeff getting his groove on, definitely. Jeff loves it. OG Gummidge. OG 70s Gummidge, yes. John Pertwee. Unistubs, wasn't it? It's a good watch. I think I've got it saved on my watch later list, which is getting longer and longer. But I will get round to watching that. Aunt Sally, yeah. Unistubs, yeah. The Saucy Nancy as well. Who else was it? There's quite a few in there that I couldn't remember seeing them when I was younger. All of a sudden, I know that person and that person and that person. You're up to John Pertwee now on Doctor Who. Good. Not long to go now till you get to the man, the myth, the legend that is Tom Baker. Yep, another Doctor Who was the Scarecrow man. It's mad how many of those actors just appeared in random things all the time. What was I watching earlier on today? The Buccaneers. I was watching that. Robert Shaw was in it. He of Jaws fame. I didn't realise he was British. That's how bad it is. And Alec Clunes, Martin Clunes' dad, was the main actor in it. Man, you didn't need a DNA paternity test with them two. Jeez, absolute ringer for him. He just looks like Martin Clunes, but in black and white. Colour episodes, finally. That's when you know you've made it. What year was that? The John Pertwee years. You watched Sink to Bismarck yesterday. What happened? Now I can't remember, was it today or yesterday where Albert RN was on as well. Ever seen that film? Based on a real story as well about a stalag where they were trying to escape constantly and they made a puppet. And the fella who made the puppet in real life made one for the film as well. So it was as realistic as it could possibly be. Fantastic. 70s, right? Well, yeah. Up Pompeii, that was 1969 and that's in colour. So yeah, you would have thought definitely by the 70s Doctor Who would have been colour. It's surprising that it wasn't colour a little bit earlier. Stalag 17, that's the one. And yes, Doctor Who is a who's who of early TV appearances, which is a bit difficult to say at times, isn't it? A Doctor Who's who. There's loads of things like that though, isn't there? MASH is another one. If you go through watching MASH from start to finish, the amount of soon-to-be stars that appeared in there, but it was pretty much just before they became famous. Ron Howard, a very, very young Ron Howard, Richie Cunningham from Happy Days, is in there as Ronnie Howard. That's how early it was. Little Ronnie Howard. Patrick Swayze, the blonde fella out of Chips. Mad, loads of them. Leslie Nielsen was in there as well. Although to be fair, I think he was famous at that point anyway. But it's mad. Sitting there watching a thing, I recognise him, and then you have a look on IMDb. Oh yeah, of course I know him. He's been in 27 Oscar-winning films. My back's just done one of those clicky noises that no back should make. Love all those old war films. Used to hate them when I was growing up. These are boring. They're not boring at all. These are all based on real stories, real things that happened. And be thankful for the people that were doing it. So no, I certainly couldn't. You couldn't fly one of those bastard things, could you? Dam busters. Tried to fly one of them at night with piss poor eyesight. Nah, you're alright. Yeah, with your aptitude for names, Mandy, it's more of a case of it's what's his face from that show about that thing. And to be honest, I know exactly who you mean at that point. There's loads of them, isn't there? Yeah, I'm normally okay with names, but there are plenty of times where I'm watching and I go, oh yeah, it's him. You know him. The fella with the face. Him, the one with the nose. What do you mean, the fella with the nose? Of course, we all know it's Carl Malden. There you go. Like in Still Game, someone it comes up with something funny and or something interesting. All right, Davy Hawkins. What do you mean, Davy Hawkins? You know, the fellow with the wheelchair and the voice. Stephen Hawkins, you dickhead. Yeah, the fellow with the wheelchair and the voice. What a great way of absolutely boiling down exactly who this man is. One of the smartest people to have ever lived in the entire history of the universe. The fellow with the wheelchair and the voice. Fair enough. Well, I knew who he meant anyway. Who? Carl Malden. He got a bell end for a nose. He was in the streets of San Francisco with Michael Douglas, wasn't it? The new World War II drama by Spielberg and Hanks starts on Apple the other day. You'll wait till they're all there and then binge you. Yeah, that's where we are these days, aren't we? You don't. None of us really, I don't think, sit and watch Monday. Don't bother with it. Wait till there's 6 or 7 of them. Get the ale in, order a curry, and then watch the whole bastard lot. Have I still got Apple? I think I get Apple free with my phone, even though it's not an Apple phone. Sure, I get Apple TV free. It's there somewhere, I think. Well, if not, we will see. Yes, him, Mandy, him. Carl Malden played General Omar Bradley in the movie Patton. Nah, that's going back a while ago, that isn't it? That is a hell of a film, that one. Yeah, did you see All Quiet on the Western Front? There's been a couple of versions of that, hasn't there? Was there a film or a series that had John Boy from the Waltons? Um, he was in it, and that's the only thing I remember about that. Whether it was, I don't even know if it was a film or a series. Interesting story though, all of it. Oh, is that the German one? Is that the from a German perspective? That'd be interesting. It was a film, that one, was it? Ah, yeah. What was his name? John? Richard, was it? Richard someone. Again, I'm fantastic with names, aren't I? Richard, John Boy, John Boy Walton, but you know what I meant. I like the fact that it was a series, wasn't it, in the 80s or 90s called All Quiet on the Preston Front. That sounds like one of those things where you're in the pub as a TV producer or executive. That right? I've come up with a great idea. All Quiet on the Preston Front. What is it? Doesn't matter. I'll give you the title. You get on with it. Seems a very sort of Alan Partridge kind of thing, that doesn't it? Like monkey tennis. Also, it's not so much about the German perspective. It doesn't go into ideologies. I was thinking more along the lines of how they saw it. Some of the stories that we didn't get told, if you know what I mean. A lot of the stuff that we get told is about the Blitz and Coventry getting ransacked, but we never really get told about Dresden and things like that going on when we should do. And you saw it, it was okay, but not as good as everyone was saying. It's what sounds like it's worth a try, though, at least. To be honest, I've seen loads of stuff where people have gone absolutely mad about things, and I've watched and thought, why on earth are you raving about this? It's utter shite. And then I've watched things where people have slagged it off, and I've thought that was amazing. So it could have been told from a French or British perspective, but it would have been the same film. There's nothing new coming out of it. And The Iron Cross is a great movie shown from the Germans' perspective. Yeah, I think we need to see stuff like that. At least, again, just to get a bit of an understanding, a bit of an idea. It wasn't just one side. It wasn't us versus an unknown set of people. These were actually people. And the same as our families over here. When the sirens went off of a night, they were still panicking. Wasn't their fault. It was the people in charge that were doing it, but they were the ones that were eventually bearing the brunt of it. War's horrible, man. Stupid. No more war. No more war. Here we go. I've sorted it out. It's only until 2024. How do we stop all wars? Easy. Get some half-wit on YouTube to start screaming it into the camera. On the Eastern Front, is it? The Iron Cross. Stop it, stop it. Oh, yes. That's included with Prime, so it's on there. I will add that. Oh, and Steve, I think, is it Charlie Wilson's War, is it? That is on Sky, I think. It's available on demand, so I think was it yesterday or the day before, I clicked download, so it should be on there. I forgot about that though, it should be on recorded stuff. Man Flint is in it. Sing Me Bob. Man Flint. It's good. I'm going to start getting a little bit of a backlog of stuff to watch, which will be needed because there'll be times where I'm sat there and there's absolutely bugger all on. Again, which is why I'm quite happy during the day having things like evercrease in circles and porridge up Pompeii keeps me going until there's something half decent on in the evening. You can see him, but you can't think of his name. Yep. This is Mandy's fault. You've infected us all with this, with thingamajigitis. Oh, just having a quick check on the scores. Had a little bet earlier on. Obviously not working. Nope. We'll have to try another thing, aren't we?
But Kipper's Vindaloo can't be good for you.
Kippers kicks ass. Kippers
Jeff,
kicks
stop
ass.
pissing about.
Kippers kicks ass.
Stop cats pooing in your garden with one natural repellent they rarely hate. Oh, what's this going to be? Bears? To be honest, I think if there was a cat in your garden and a bear turned up, it might disappear. Not Lee Marvin, the other one. Hank Marvin, Marvin Gaye. Marvin the paranoid android. Lee Van Cleef. I wasn't blaming you, Mandy. Gentle teasing, that's all. But, to be fair, you are completely to blame. You think you prefer cat poo over bear poo in your garden? I would as well. I think, definitely. Easier to deal with and less aggressive hosts. Lee Majors. Let's have a look. Armand Flint. James Coburn. Lee J. Cobb. I think we've got a cat. We haven't got a cat. We've got a cat who's from next door or next door but one, who seems to absolutely love shitting in our garden. That you've got to cross about 4 or 5 other gardens to get to ours, but loves it. Got no idea why. There must be something in there where it feels comfortable. Gorgeous looking thing though. Little black thing with, I don't know, weird coloured eyes. Sort of turquoise eyes. Not remotely bothered about anything as well. Just to sit out there. And if you're making a cup of tea and you start banging on the window, it's like, what are you looking at? Yeah, Jimmy Boy Coburn. Fantastic actor. So was Lee J. Cobb as well, wasn't he? He was in quite a lot of things. Am I growing catnip? No, it's just the way I'm sat. There you go. Worked. But I will have to change some of the other ones because they're not going to work. Actually, while I'm here now, yeah, I think I've just fixed something very quickly. We'll find out though. That was sort of on the job fixing, button pressing. I may well have deleted the entire internet though. My moon's gone out. Right. Yes, I think I've had a problem with charging that, but I have found a solution. Instead of using a power bank, which doesn't seem to be working, I can plug it into the powered USB. There you go. I'll whip my sabre out. It's interesting, this, isn't it? There's loads of stuff there. Another good World War II movie is the big red one, which has Lee Marvin and Mark Hamill in it. Now, there's a combination I never thought of. Lee Marvin's proper old school, isn't he? I mean, proper old school. From that generation of movie stars that were, well, male movie stars anyway, that were proper hard drinking, hard fighting, hard living kind of fellas. Do I make the lightsaber noise when I play with it? I say, pardon? No, it's not a lightsaber, it is a light. Although, to be fair, I did when I first bought it the very first time. I stood in front of the mirror down there and give it the old zhub, zhub, zhub. Because I'm a man child, obviously. Yes, ooh, matron. Yeah, it doesn't, does it? Does loads of things, but it's not really a lightsaber. Should have effects on it as well somewhere. There you go. A bit of autofocus lightsaberish. That is now going to fall and smash into a million pieces. I hope you know. It's not a lightsaber. If it was, I'd be outside fighting crime and all kinds of stuff. lot of them were in the war. Like Anthony Quayle was a real spy in Yugoslavia. Yep. Peter Butterworth as well. Do you remember Carry On Camping? He was the fellow who owned the campsite. He was in one of the stalags as well. A proper old school. Yeah, Anthony Quayle. Was Anthony Quayle, was he? I'm sure he's the one who's Mainsdale, isn't he? Yeah, Anthony Quayle was born in Ainsdale, just down the road from me in Southport. A real spy in Yugoslavia. Why am I not outside fighting crime? How do we? It's cold and it's wet. It's just, it's too wet and miserable to be out fighting crime. See, I do look special holding it. I look special all the time though, don't I? Level up to level 13, well done, Steve. Oh, fantastic. Give Botrix a little tickle, see what's happening. Shouldn't have done that. That started acting weird as well now. Never press buttons, we know this. Yep, cold is definitely a good excuse. Too cold, too windy, too rainy. It was horrible this morning. I need an effect for levelling up, confetti or something. I can do that. I can do something. I will do something. I will find something, definitely. In fact, how about a... Oh no, that's nowhere to be seen, is it?
I feel fantastic.
That's not bad, I suppose. I forgot I had that one. Steve's on 13, Jack, because Steve chats a lot. He's got loads going on. Yes, exactly. I've got so much to do. It's ridiculous. I've got 2 stream decks. A little one and an Excel. And they're all just buttons everywhere. Yep, you need more yakety yak jack. Don't forget our mates, Charcoal Coffee Company. Link is in the description below. Some fantastic stuff there. Hey, Wolfie still works. See, I managed to do this in the background without anyone seeing. Think of it as hand exercises. Yeah, got to be careful doing that as well. Oh no, I've just thought of something. I need to make a bit of room on my stream decks. But I've been stuck on 7 for ages. You're at 8. Monsieur Barnes 8 with 4,515 points as well. So people are doing well. There is a hell of a lot of points going on as well as levels. You're all doing very, very well. Proud of you. I'm like a proud father. Did anyone guess the hat today, by the way? I haven't worn this one in a while. I thought I'd bust out the hat. Yes, Mandy, you're on level 18 at the moment. Followed by Hadavik with 16. Casper on 14. Steve on 13. Kirsty on 12. The European places. That's not points, that's watch time. So 8. How does the points work then? Oh, I don't know, you tell me. I'm only the one that put them on the screen. I don't understand the bits and bobs behind it. I clicked on widget and stick it on the screen and let the rest of it do itself because it's mental. Anyway, it's not the points, it's the taking part that counts. Although to be honest, it is the points and the levels, isn't it? The points make prizes, yes. Points will make knitted potatoes at some point. At some point, literally. But I would need to go and fetch them and find a way of getting them to people that doesn't involve DHL or who were the shit ones? Who were the shit couriers? Who were we talking about last week? DPD were alright, aren't they? So were the Royal Mail. Who's the really bad ones? Every. Yeah, every. Knobheads. And Yodel. You can keep your knitted spuds. Oh, they are fantastic, Steve. They are genuinely superb stuff. In fact, they should at some point become their own little cartoon series, I think. Muy interesante. Who doesn't want a potato to cuddle at night? Yeah. While you're watching MASH. In your jacket. Well, we've got one more to do. Let's get over there and see what he's got to say for himself. Horace's haikus. Fresh from the shower, I'm wearing Lynx Africa. I smell like a twat.
I feel fantastic.
Bit harsh that, Horace, to be honest with you. But, you know, us dads have always got Lynx Africa in the house, haven't we? Emergency shower gel. It's always there. The squishy, you can stick him in a jiffy. That sounds like one of the best ever adverts, doesn't it? That sounds like one of those things, like it's Frothy Man with, was that Panda Pops? I can imagine that in a bit of a Cockney accent to some young whippersnapper. They're squishy, you can stick him in a jiffy. In the jiffy. Oh, man. It's starting to get to me now. Three o'clock is no time for any human being to be waking up of a morning. Stupid. So to be honest with you, I think I'm going to have to start getting ready to leave, I think, because I am starting to really feel it. I think this day is starting to kick my ass, which is not good. I think I need a couple of paracetamol, some water. Yeah, I am, aren't I? I can see myself in the screen as well. Just starting to look bloody awful. I need my feet up. I don't think it'll be too long before I end up in bed, but I have a sneaking suspicion my daughter will be ringing me at some point. Can you come and pick me up? So I'll make sure that my car keys are kept in my room as well, instead of being in the front room. But yeah, I think I need to lie down, definitely. Cheers, Steve. It's always been emotional, mate. How do we feel going to sleep as well? But time for the doggies to go for a pee first, obviously. Needed. Absolutely needed. So yeah, thank you as always. I love these days, these evenings. Even when I'm feeling rough as a bear's arse. No offence, Kippers, no offence. Hopefully I will try and get things a bit more sorted for next time, because this was slightly chaotic and Jeff is still pissing about with buttons. We don't need that. Cheers, Steve. Don't let the big bugs bite. Velterusten. Good night. Take it all easy, and
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
that's that.
Hoo-yah!